All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday, November 10th. Uh, Before I get into this, of course, tomorrow is Veterans Day, and I want to say a personal thank you to um, everyone who has served or is serving currently in the armed forces. It is very, very much appreciated, and we don't say it enough. Um, so that is first thing off the top of the list. Several teams did military appreciation nights. Binghamton, Motor City, um, Blue Ridge. I missed the preliminaries for Carolina. I think Carolina might have done something as well. Literally, I turned on the game right as the puck was being dropped. Anyway, so yes, first game that we're covering. These three, of course, are the games that I caught a few minutes here and there. I probably caught like about 8 or 9 minutes here, about 15 minutes here, about 15 minutes here. The other games, of course, on the other board, I watched in full. I've got three devices all set up. I'm watching simultaneously and taking notes and all that good stuff. So Port Huron, on the back end of their weekend, unfortunately, they didn't have a very successful weekend. They come up short again, this time to the Binghamton Black Bears, and it's a 2-0 shutout. Can't say a whole lot about this game. Binghamton came out flying, got 23 shots on goal in the opening period, and then just kind of held on. Um, Zach Serrata scored the game-winning goal at 12:21 of the first period. And meanwhile, Connor McAnanima, he stopped 21 of 21, wasn't that busy. Defense did a good job in front of him. And for Port Huron, Valtteri Nusiainen deserved better. 38 out of 40 on saves. He the parts of the game that I saw, he looked great. Unfortunately, just had no support from the guys in front of him. So yeah, so McAnanima gets one of two shutouts in a night. Nusiainen plays well. Sellout crowd, and Port Huron is now 3-4-1. Binghamton improves to 8-1-1, and now has the top record in the league somehow, some way. Yeah. Anyway, next game, Motor City trying to return the favor against Monroe. Monroe fell behind on Friday night 3-0 and stormed back to win. Motor City tried the same thing today, or last night rather, but it just came up a little short. So Motor City falling 5-4 to the Monroe Moccasins. Crowd of 1499 on hand for Military Appreciation Night for the Motor City Rockers. The game-winning goal came earlier in the third. It was Chris Corrigan scoring at 11:30, and at that point made it 5-2 Monroe. Carson Baptiste got a couple of late goals for the Rockers, and it looked like they might sneak one out, and just ran out of time. So and Monroe never trailed in this game. Goalies, Marcus Ekholm Rosen. He was pretty solid in net for the Moccasins, and of course Ricardo Gonzalez playing. Trevor Babin did not play. I am hearing reports he may be looking at some kind of a lower body injury. We'll try and find out more. But Bryn Sommerfeld was assigned right before game time to back up Ricardo Gonzalez. Unfortunately, didn't work out. Ricardo Gonzalez, 22 saves on 27 shots in 58-38 in net. Of course, he was pulled late for the extra attacker. Ekholm Rosen saves 30 of 34. And Monroe improves now to 3-3-3 with the weekend sweep. Motor City looking for some answers here. They're playing better as of late, but it's still not coming together. 2-6-0 on the season, and looking for some answers. Um, all right, and then this game ended up being a thriller after a whitewashing Friday night by the Wolves. Danbury plays with a lot more effort and not effort. That's not the right word. With a lot more success. Um, and really, yeah, it was a tight game all the way through. Obviously, it's tied 4-4. For a period of time, it was 4-2 Danbury in this game, but Watertown ends up in overtime, winning on a Trevor Lord shot at 3:11 into the overtime period. Three unanswered goals by the Wolves to pull out the win. Um, Crowd of 746 on hand. Um, so yeah, it was 4-2, and there had been a little bit of an exchange of goalies. Uh, Garrett Johnson started the game, um, got in 2 goals in the opening frame. So then Anton Brodkin came in for the first 11 minutes of the second period. He surrendered 2 goals on 11 shots. So Garrett Johnson came back in, kind of a reverse of Friday night, where Brodkin played the majority of the night, but Johnson came in late in the game and completed the shutout on Friday. No shutout here, but yeah, the goalies working in tandem again. So, yeah, McCollum was the goaltender for the Danbury Hat Tricks, and a lot of fans are kind of wondering what's going on with him. He's had a couple of outings now where he hasn't looked the best. He doesn't look horrible, but he's just hasn't had his A game the last couple of times out. So he saves 34 of 39. And Garrett Johnson, 26 saves on the night in 28 opportunities. He played 52-03 overall. So Watertown now 7-1-1. They keep finding ways of winning. A couple goals by Heitzner, a couple goals by Blacksmith. Meanwhile, Danbury is now 3-2-3 and still in third place. So, it's too early to hit the panic button in Danbury, in my opinion. Had to reposition my camera there. Okay, so again, the games that I did watch and cover, well, not a whole lot to talk about here, but what a goaltending battle. And it really was. It was a true goaltender's battle. Neither Jack Bostet nor Mario Cavalieri, I did it again, Mario Cavalieri, neither one of them wanted to give anything up, and for 60 minutes, neither did. This game was very close, very physical, and yet there were very few penalties in this game. It was a very clean game. So finally, we get to our overtime session. There's some question from Carolina fans on the validity of the goal. To me, it looked like Jacob Schnapp ended up pulling his man down, who ended up sliding into Cavalieri in the process of making a save. Ended up on his stomach when Shinkarik tipped in the rebound. That was at 112 or 113 into the extra frame. It's a 1-0 shutout win for the Athens Rock Lobsters. A great goaltender performance. Both goaltenders made several amazing saves. Your standard saves, your basic saves that they have to make, they made. And this was just not meant to be this day for the Thunderbirds, unfortunately. So yeah, it's Shinkarik with the win. I believe that is his third game-winning goal of the year. I'm going to have to check the Athens stats. But anyway, yeah, Shinkarik with that game-winning goal set up by Garrett Milan, of course, and So Jack Bostat saves all 34 shots that he faces for the second of two shutouts on the night. And Cavallari, 27 of 28. Played an excellent game, and like I said, it just wasn't meant to be. But anyway, Athens now 8-1-0. Although we do have to say that teams are playing Athens tough. Athens has had to go to extra time 4 times in 9 games. So yeah, the Athens isn't breezing by everybody. They've had a couple of big wins, but for the most part, they're earning their wins. Carolina is now 3-1-3 on the season. Crowd of 31-10 on hand to see the goaltenders battle. All right. This was not a goaltenders battle. Yeah, the Dashers end up getting into Hudson Valley, and yeah, this was just a slaughter. Hudson Valley with an easy 10-2 win, 57 shots on the night for the Venom. The offense just cranked it up. So the game started with Oscar Wahlgren in goal for the Dashers. Eli Bowers in net for the Venom. It's been a little while since he got a start, so he got some reps. So yeah, first period 18-12. It's Dustin Giseau scoring. And as can usually happen with a player of Giseau's talent, he decides, you know what, I'm going to get another one. Just 38 seconds later, 18:50, it's Giseau again. So we haven't even gotten to the end of the first period, and Giseau is already on hat trick watch. He had 5 points on Friday night. Late in the period, Nick Gullo is pulled down from behind in the process of a breakaway. So he gets a penalty shot and converts. That's 1948. Gullo puts the puck home past Eli Bowers. So it's 2-1 going into the locker rooms at the end of 20. So not bad. Although Hudson Valley had the edge in shots 18-8. So Wahlgren was a busy man. And for 18 minutes, he shut the door, and then the floodgates open. Second period, it is. I always butcher his first name, so I apologize. Mantis, I believe. Norika for Hudson Valley. I'm going to have to learn his name because he's obviously very talented. Gets a goal at 105. And then Giseau decides, yeah, it's time for my hat trick. 3:28 in. There you go. There's his Hattie. And he wasn't done on the night. He would add 3 assists. So Giseau was just factoring into a whole bunch of play. But anyway, okay, 5:36. It's David Gaeta on the power play, and that was the end of the night for Oscar Wahlgren. Parker Rutherford comes in, and in relief of Wahlgren. Wahlgren had stopped 19 of 24 in 25:36 time in net. Okay, 9:15. It's another power play opportunity. Another goal by Noreka. So he's got 2. Giseau's already got 3. Noreka's got 2. 9:48. Just 33 seconds later, it's Brett Parker scoring. It's all Venom at this point. Late in the second, 14:40, Trey Fisher manages bang one home to get the Dashers within within 6 goals at this point, or 5 goals, excuse me. But yeah, it was an onslaught. Parker scores again shorthanded at 17:38. Parker doing Parker things. He's not called Brett the Jet for no reason. All right, so yeah, shots again. 18 for Hudson Valley in the second, 12 this time for the Dashers. They got a little bit more offense, but it just wasn't enough. Third period, Noreka gets his hat trick at 12:47. It's again on the power play. 4 power play goals for the Venom last night. Yeah, the Dashers just were sloppy. A lot of holding calls, a lot of hooks and things like that. It's just when you get tired, things get a little loosey goosey. You get undisciplined, and it's not like you're playing a chippy game. But anyway, that goal by Noreka did set something off, and at that point, Thomas Murphy just went bananas. Started attacking any Hudson Valley Venom player that he could find. He sucker punches a show. He sucker punches Pickford. Then those two face off. Um, so yeah, right after the goal, you have Austin Pickford, Dustin Gisso, who got in trouble with his mouth again, and Thomas Murphy all getting the boot. Murphy is most certainly going to be receiving a suspension for an aggressor penalty. I don't see either Pickford or Gisso getting a suspension. But Gisso, again, his one downside is, unfortunately, again, I've said it before. He's one of the most talented players in the league. He's just gotta cool it. All right, so finally, we had a whole bunch of goals from Gisso and and Noreka and Parker. So Sigurdsson said, "Hey, I want one too." He gets a goal at 15:47 to close out the scoring. It's 10-2 shots in the third period, 21-6, and for the game, 57-26. So the Dashers fall to 1-6-1. They go home to try and regroup, and Hudson Valley is now 3-3-1. Surprise, surprise, they're in fourth place in the Empire Division. I know it's early, but an announced crowd of 500. That's about as much as the arena holds. I didn't think it was a full house, but let's not pick over that. Final game that I covered: Mississippi SeaWolves and the Blue Ridge Bobcats. And initially, this looked like the SeaWolves were going to pull out a win. They played great in the first 40 minutes, and then they just decided to pack it in, and really, lackluster effort in the third period. And I hate to say that about a team, but this is a pattern with Mississippi. They'll come out with a great start and then just fold. So ends up being 6-3. But the first half of this game, it was Mississippi with the control of the game. Sam Best in net for the Mississippi SeaWolves, and it was a Verostic in net for the second straight night for the Bobcats. Verostic, after having a 3-assist night, this night wasn't as good, but he still had a good night. So right off the bat, Bobcats making it look like they're going to walk again. 42 seconds in, kind of a fluky bounce, but Dmitry Salyutin scores. It was a really sharp angle shot, kind of a fluke thing. Got by Sam Best. It's 1-0 Bobcats, but then Mississippi turned it around, started chipping away, started playing a disciplined game for the first period, and Blake Keller scores at 8:48 on the power play. So we go into the first period, or the end of the first period. It's 1-1, and shots are pretty even. Mississippi being outshot by 2. It's 16-14 in favor of the Bobcats in the first period. But again, Mississippi was getting the better of the chances, better shots. Second period, early part of the period, they continued that trend. Matt Stoya scores at 5:38. Then at 9:47, it's Dalton Anderson scoring on the power play. So 2 power play goals by the SeaWolves. 9:47, we're halfway through the game, and it's 3-1. And then nothing really happened for quite a while, scoring wise, as far as opportunities. So it looked like this was going to be a long night for the Bobcats. They hadn't played well on a Saturday to this point. Um, Shots in the second period, the Bobcats did hold the lead 15-9, but yeah, really peripheral shots, not anything really substantial. Best wasn't having to work hard, and then we got to the third period, and it was literally all Bobcats. Smirnov at 6:11. Tristan Sim tipping in a puck at 8:47. Justin Vernay scoring at 9:19. Two quick goals there. Smirnov again on the power play this time, 11:52. And then 13:39. It was Aaron Ryback scoring. I thought Brett Wiseman was going to lose his voice before he reached the end of the game. Shots in the third period says it all. 19-2. And again, we've seen this before with Mississippi, where they just lose their edge. They get undisciplined. Matt Stoya spent a couple times in the box. Eventually, he said a couple of bad words to the officials and was shown the door. And with Stoya out, now that's a lot of offensive potential that Mississippi loses. And yeah, it's just two shots. You can't go through a period with just two shots on goal. So yeah, it's a 6-3 win for the Bobcats. First win of the year for the Bobcats on a Saturday. They improved to 4-3-1. Mississippi falling to 1-6-1. Crowd of 15 there for Military Appreciation Night at the Hitachi Energy Center. Shots 50 overall for the Bobcats, 25 for Mississippi. So there we go. There's a capsule of last night's games. Tomorrow, of course, we will have our shortest video of the week, and that is Stars and Standings, of course. I can tell you that somebody you see on this board right now is definitely going to be on the list. So, and no surprises there. Actually, two might be. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support. We'll see you tomorrow for Stars and Standings. I'm Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash.